There exists an ancient manuscript that many have sought to erase from history. It revealed a truth that empowered ordinary individuals with access to something once tightly controlled by the elite, the ability to influence and direct energy. Beneath layers of symbolism and allegory, this hermetic text taught initiates how to harness this force according to their will. It wasn't merely feared for its mystical content. It was hidden because it served as a practical guide to energy manipulation. Encoded within its pages were instructions for activating an inner power that governs not only the body, but the very fabric of reality. It laid out a cryptic but precise map for working with the same invisible field that stirs the cosmos, drives emotions, and influences events. The ancients called this power life force. Mystics referred to it as divine light. In modern terms, it is raw, perceptible energy, and it is within your reach. Once you understand how this field operates, you stop reacting passively to life and begin to shape it consciously. This is what you were never meant to learn, because once you master your energy, no one else can control you. The manuscript in question is the Corpus Hermeticum, a cornerstone of esoteric wisdom from ancient Greece and Egypt. At its core lies a principle so fundamental it has been stripped of its original power. The understanding that your inner world doesn't merely reflect reality, it creates it. Hermetic masters taught that the mind is not confined to the brain, and energy is not locked within the body. Your thoughts, emotions, and focus radiate outward. They move, they shape. The ancients didn't just theorize about the divine. They offered a system. They believed every human being is a microcosm of the universe. When your inner energy is aligned, you can affect life in profound ways. Thoughts aren't just mental chatter, and emotions aren't background noise. They're the raw substance of energetic transmission. Every shift in your internal state, every breath, intention, and moment of focused awareness sends a signal into the field. When that signal is disordered, life feels chaotic. But when it's directed, the world begins to respond. This is the forgotten goal of Hermetic practice, not merely to know thyself, but to master the energy you emit, to consciously shape the subtle forces moving through you. It's about stopping the unconscious loss of power and starting to direct it with precision. Energy mastery doesn't begin with ceremony or performance. It begins the moment you realize you are always broadcasting. The only question is, are you doing it accidentally or with intent? Once you recognize that, the real training starts. You felt this energy before, even if you didn't recognize it. The shiver down your spine when someone's watching, the tension in a room filled with unspoken conflict, the warmth from someone you trust. These aren't emotional quirks. They're direct encounters with the subtle field that surrounds all things. Energy perception is real. It's an extension of your awareness, much like hearing or touch, only dormant from neglect, not gone. The good news is, it can be trained. If you've ever felt tingling in your hands, pressure between your eyes, or a deep internal shift during intense focus, your body was already sensing this field. You just lacked the language for it. This is what the Corpus Hermeticum truly unlocks. Not just the knowledge that energy exists, but the awareness that your body is already equipped to feel it. You are the antenna. And when you begin to tune in intentionally and consistently, your world starts to change. But sensing is only the first step. To fully engage with the field, you must go from passive receiver to active director, just like a musician first hears music before learning to create it. And your first and most powerful energetic tool, your breath. Breathing is far more than a biological function. It's the most direct bridge between your body, your emotions, and your energetic field. Every ancient system of energy mastery, from Hermeticism to yoga to Taoism, begins here. Yet most people breathe shallowly and unconsciously, disconnected from the power carried on every inhale and exhale. As children, before stress and conditioning set in, we breathed deeply, our bellies rising and falling naturally, drawing energy like a river. But tension pushes the breath upward, shallower, weakening the current. Over time, we unconsciously sever our connection to our life force. To reverse this, belief isn't required, only intention. Hermetic texts speak of the breath as the carrier of spiritus, the invisible spark that links mind, body, and soul. They taught that by mastering breath, one could regulate not only physical health, but their entire energetic signature. To control energy, you must understand how it moves, not as some mystical force floating outside the body, but as a structured flow bound to the mind and spirit. The Corpus Hermeticum doesn't describe chakras or meridians, but it outlines something more essential, a threefold model of being: the body, the soul, and the divine spark. These aren't separate. They are conduits through which universal energy flows. The Hermeticists saw the body as more than flesh. It was a sacred vessel. The soul, the bridge between body and spirit, could either allow energy to pass freely or block it through confusion, desire, or disconnection from the divine mind. When your thoughts are clear and emotions balanced, the soul becomes transparent. Energy flows through it like light through crystal. But when you're fragmented or impulsive, the soul clouds, the current warps, and life becomes disjointed. This is why Hermetic texts emphasize purification, not as moral judgment, but as energetic refinement. Every moment of clarity or inward stillness polishes the internal mirror, allowing divine force to pass without resistance. When the current flows, the body feels lighter, perception sharpens, and your actions align almost effortlessly with desired outcomes. The goal was never to summon power from the outside, but to awaken and circulate what's already within. The mind becomes the guide, the soul the conductor, the body the instrument. And when all three are in harmony, energy obeys the will with precision. Even your hands, in Hermetic thought, are more than physical tools. They are extensions of the mind and soul. Every movement carries intent. With focused awareness and will, even the simplest gesture becomes an act of energetic influence. While the Corpus Hermeticum doesn't lay out physical techniques, it emphasizes a central truth. The universe responds to focused consciousness. What you give your attention to gains energy. What you concentrate on, you begin to shape. Here's a practice to demonstrate this. Energy follows attention. Rub your palms together until they warm. Slowly separate them. Close your eyes and bring full awareness to the space between your hands. Breathe gently. Notice sensations, tingling, pulsing, or subtle resistance. These are not imagination. Your field is responding. Now visualize a ball of energy forming between your palms. Shape it, compress it, expand it. The more focused your attention, the more tangible the sensation becomes. This is not energy summoned from elsewhere. It's awakened from within. Hermeticism teaches that the divine mind moves through all things. When you quiet your mind and direct your awareness, you're not creating energy, you're aligning with it. With practice, this alignment becomes a form of command. But as your sensitivity grows, so does your susceptibility. A refined energy system is more open and more vulnerable. Just as you wouldn't walk barefoot through broken glass, you shouldn't move through the energetic world without awareness and protection. Energy is adhesive. It clings to you through conversations, places, emotions, and even your own thoughts. That heaviness you feel after spending time with certain people, or the mental haze that sets in after too much exposure to negativity online, it isn't just your mood shifting. It's your energetic field picking up static. The Hermetic traditions, like many ancient systems, understood that energetic hygiene is essential. Regular clearing is maintenance for your field. Without it, you begin to carry weight that isn't yours. The noise of the world becomes confused with your inner voice, and your ability to shape energy becomes muffled. Start with the breath. Inhale deeply through the nose. As you exhale through the mouth, imagine all stuck or dense energy leaving you like smoke. Do this slowly and with intention. Feel your field begin to lighten. Add hand movements, gentle sweeping motions above the surface of your body as if clearing invisible residue. For deeper cleansing, water becomes your ally. Take salt baths with rosemary, lavender, or other purifying herbs. As you soak, envision the heavy energies dissolving, washing away, and draining out of your field. When paired with focused intent, water becomes a tool of transformation, not just relaxation. But cleansing is only one part. The other is protection. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Picture a sphere of light forming around you, bright, solid, protective. This is your personal boundary. Color it gold for strength, blue for peace, or white for clarity, whatever resonates with your purpose. What matters most is the focus of your mind. With repetition, this protective layer becomes a living shield, filtering what reaches your core. Grounding is another vital key. When your energy feels scattered or overstimulated, it rises and spins aimlessly. To reset it, make direct contact with nature. Walk barefoot, sit under trees, place your hands on the soil. The earth naturally draws out excess charge and brings your system back to balance. You are an energetic being, and like any charged system, you must discharge, restore, and stabilize regularly. Once you learn to maintain your field, you stop reacting and begin radiating. Cleansing and shielding are foundational, but the higher practice is transmutation, the ability to convert dense, painful, or heavy energy into clarity and strength. Hermetic wisdom didn't focus on avoidance, it focused on refinement. Just as physical alchemists turned base metals into gold, the energetic practitioner turns anxiety into fuel, sorrow into awareness, and fear into presence. Begin with awareness. When discomfort arises, a tight chest, a tense gut, or a pressure behind the eyes, pause. Don't suppress it. Study it. Ask, where did this come from? What triggered this? Awareness alone begins to dissolve the pattern. You're no longer enslaved to the energy. You're observing it with intelligence. Then, bring your focus to your solar plexus, just above your navel. Visualize a golden flame burning there. As you inhale, feed that flame the heavy sensation. As you exhale, watch it burn, refine, and transform the weight into vitality and light. Color is another powerful key. Every frequency of light represents a different energetic function. Visualize violet light washing over you. It transmutes. If you're drained, switch to gold or white, colors of restoration and awakening. Sound is also transformative. A simple hum, an elongated resonates through your body and field, shaking loose stagnation and recalibrating your frequency. You don't need to sing, just let sound move through you with presence. Here's the truth. Energy is neutral. What we call negative energy is often just misdirected, misplaced, or untransformed force. When you learn to redirect it, everything becomes useful. Your wounds become wisdom. Your restlessness becomes drive. Your darkness becomes fuel. Transmutation is sovereignty. It means you don't fear energy, you mold it. Nothing can latch onto you unless you allow it. Nothing can influence you unless you consent. That's true power, not external spells, but inner command. The Corpus Hermeticum doesn't say power comes from objects. It teaches that the universe responds to clear will, pure intention, and alignment with the divine order. Transformation begins within. The outside follows. Modern practitioners often use tools, crystals, symbols, sacred geometry, not as power sources, but as amplifiers of focused thought. These aren't ancient Hermetic objects, but they reflect a Hermetic truth. What the mind impresses, matter expresses. Crystals hold steady frequencies. Quartz amplifies. Amethyst calms. Obsidian protects. These stones don't generate energy. They reflect and strengthen what you bring to them. Clear intent makes them powerful. Scattered energy renders them inert. Symbols tap deeper layers. Hermeticism understood that the soul speaks in forms and archetypes. Sacred geometry and glyphs carry intention in visual form. When you meditate on a symbol, charge an object, or create ritual with meaningful patterns, you aren't replacing the inner work. You're reinforcing it. Tools become bridges between your energetic field and reality itself. Hermeticism teaches, you are the source. Tools are simply extensions. They stabilize your will, but only if you're truly focused. Used with awareness, they bring the unseen into the visible. But the power has always been yours. Energy is meant to move. Just as water stagnates if left still, energy within you can become blocked. While the Corpus Hermeticum doesn't include movement practices, its core truths echo through traditions that do. Systems like Tai Chi, yoga, and internal alchemy reflect the same principle. Movement, when joined with intention, enhances the flow of life force. Try this. Sit upright. Inhale and visualize energy rising from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. Exhale and guide it down the front of your body to the root. This loop, a foundational Taoist practice, mirrors Hermetic ideals of balance between mind, motion, and spirit. Other movements, spinal waves, circular hand gestures, deep stretches, can help break energetic blockages. When done with mindfulness, movement becomes a ritual. Each motion becomes a transmission. Each breath, a bridge. Thought is energy too. Every thought sends a vibration through your field. The Hermeticists knew this long before modern science confirmed it. Thoughts repeated with emotion begin to shape your energetic atmosphere. That's why people feel stuck. They're echoing old, unexamined thoughts. But you can rewrite them. Pick one phrase that empowers you, not a fake affirmation, but a sentence that resonates as truth. Breathe it in, speak it, write it, hold it in your field until the old imprint dissolves. The Hermetic texts didn't just offer metaphors, they described laws. One of them, everything vibrates, nothing rests. Your frequency determines your life experience. When your field vibrates at lower states, guilt, fear, shame, life feels dense, reactive, slow. When you raise your frequency through clarity, gratitude, presence, your field becomes coherent, magnetic. Reality bends toward your resonance. It begins to mirror your new tone. Raising frequency isn't about pretending to feel good. It's about choosing alignment. You can use breath, movement, solitude, or sound to recalibrate. The change starts inside, but you'll see the results in how people respond, how situations unfold, how doors open. Most people believe life happens to them. Hermetic thought says life happens through them. Reality is a living mirror, reflecting your inner energetic condition. If your outer world feels chaotic, heavy, or stuck, ask, what am I projecting? That's the secret at the core of every mystical tradition. The world isn't working against you. It's showing you where you are. So when you're triggered, ask, what part of me attracted this? What must shift to release it? That's the way of the adept, not someone who fights the shadows, but one who shifts the light that casts them. Once you can feel energy, shape it, and move it, you realize something deeper. Energy doesn't just shape your inner world. It shapes reality itself. Every thought, every feeling, every breath sends a signal into the field. That field responds, always. The Hermeticists knew this. That's why they were careful with language, focused with intention, and reverent with ritual. Because reality isn't fixed, it's fluid. It moves in harmony with focused consciousness. You are not just a receiver, you are a transmitter, a creative force. Every desire you charge with focus and emotion becomes a seed. Anchor it to an object, a phrase, or a daily act. Repeat it. The frequency intensifies. The field listens. That's how energy becomes experience. That's how thought becomes form. But here's the warning. The same power that shapes can distort. Doubt, fear, and scattered attention also create. The true path isn't just about creating. It's about disciplining your inner world. Energy follows feeling. Feeling feeds reality. The Corpus Hermeticum didn't give spells. It gave mirrors. It taught that the external is a reflection of the internal. Change the signal, and the reflection shifts. So the question is simple. Will you create by accident or with design? The current is already flowing. You've always had access. What happens now is entirely up to you.